Hi, I'm Sally from Pro-Align Pilates and Rehab, and welcome to this level 2 mat class. We're going to start off lying on the floor on our back. So we're just going to run through our setup again. Starting with our pelvis, we're going to find pelvis middle. So just checking in that pubic bone and our two front hip bones are level and parallel to the floor. Coming up then, we want some awareness in our low back. It should just have a really natural curve, and it's going to be different for everybody. Coming up then to your rib cage, you want your rib cage to be nice and heavy on the floor. Just watch that it's not tilted up. Then we want broad shoulders and a sense of length at the back of the neck and a slight drop of the chin. Remember, you may need a towel or small cushion under your head to help get neutral. So if you feel like you're in that position, get something and pop it under your head so that you can achieve a nice centered alignment. Take your awareness now to your breath, remembering it's coming from the side ribs and upper tummy. So just check in, do some rounds of nose breathing. Take your breath away from your upper chest, and you can monitor with your hand if you need to. Then we're going to just think about gathering our inner unit or core, so whatever cue you're working with, just inhale, exhale, and connect. Inhale, exhale, and connect. And we're going to come through some spinal motion. So we're just going to start with pelvis only, coming in some small rocks backwards and forwards. So tilting the pelvis back and then forwards. If we have this imaginary green grape under our low back, as we tilt backwards, we'd be squashing onto the grape, and as we tilt forwards, we come off. Now we're going to allow or follow this motion higher up in the body now. So as the pelvis tilts backwards, feel the rib cage tilt down, and the head follows the pelvis. So pubic bone lifts, chin lifts. And then we come back in the other direction. Pelvis tilts down, rib cage lifts, chin drops. And we're just going to slowly flow backwards and forwards between these motions. So your pelvis and head will generally be doing the same thing. And your thorax or rib cage area will be moving in opposition. So we will inhale, lift. Exhale, drop down. And really squash that grape here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, coming down, and then coming back into neutral again. Just scoot your toes up. We're going to come into a small rotation through the spine. So thinking of exhaling as the knees roll over. Inhale, float yourself back to center. Lead and lift from the pelvis, and then draw back again. Nice and rhythmic. Thinking you're getting a little bit more opening through the spine with each repetition. And back. Then we're going to slide the leg away from us and draw this knee up. Just come into some gentle squeezes. So we're working into hip flexion. Now the more we can squeeze this leg down onto the floor, the more opening we'll get into this hip flexor. So gentle squeezing in. We're going to then open the knee out to the same side armpit. Squeezing here, we should get more opening now into the groin. Again, small pulses. And then we're going to come up and over. The bottom will lift a little bit here. And you just want to feel a gentle opening into the back of the hips. And also we get some opening into the low back. Then we're going to repeat on the other side. Knee up, small squeezes. Again, this is where we're looking to open it. Keeping this leg pushing down onto the floor, watching that it's not popping up, so we can get maximum opening into this hip flexor. Take the knee out to the same side, so we get opening into the same side groin. Again, working with a nice undulating smooth motion. And then bringing it across the body. Just a gentle rocking motion here. Good. Okay. Now, let's begin. So we're going to come into our supine setup again. We're going to start with alternating knee fall out. So pelvis level, deep tummy connect. Exhale, knee falls out. Inhale, release. Exhale, knee fall out. So we're going to go alternating left, right today. Just watch points again. Pelvis remains level. So we can feel here from the front, or if you want to, take your awareness to the back of your sacrum. Your sacrum should have the same pressure on it, shouldn't be tilting. We want to keep nice and relaxed in our outer abdominal muscles here with a nice soft flowing rib cage. Now, we're going to bring our arms up to over the shoulders now and bring in an opposite arm to knee. As we exhale now, knee falls out, arm falls out. Just watch that we're not taking the arm all the way to the floor, the legs falling over and it's becoming sloppy. Exhale, maintain center here and feel this energy, this line of energy coming across in a diagonal pattern across the front of the body. Okay, now we're going to move on to our leg slides now. Keep the arms where they are. Exhale, slide the toe away from you. Inhale, coming back up. Alternating again. Now just watching here once again that my foot stays in contact with the floor the whole time. My pelvis stays level again. Exhaling, elongating. We're going to take both arms overhead now. So as we exhale, open the arms. Inhale, come back in again. Exhale, open the arms. Inhale, come back in again. Exhale, open. Now we're watching here that we don't come into this arched position, that this part of the body is able to maintain a sense of relaxed stability and the arms and legs move independently of that. As the arms come overhead, we want to keep the rib cage in check. So we're just seeing how far can I take my arms overhead before my rib cage starts to pop up. Good, that's nice. Well done. Alternate now. Knee out, coming in, legs slide, and return. Opening out, coming back in, legs slide, and return. Alternating. A little bit more of a brain challenge going on here. Extending. Last one. And extending. Good. All right. We're going to come now into our alternating knee folds. So deepening your connection, scoop the knee up and then lower. Alternating left, right. So remember here we have that small gap in the low back, resting on our little grape. There is no movement through the pelvis. Rib cage remains relatively soft and fluid. Exhale, folding. Inhale, lowering. Exhale, folding. Inhale, lowering. Good, now we're going to take the arms up again. Opposite arm to leg. One arm overhead, opposite knee. So just floating like this. Again, checking in, relaxed face, neck. Broad collarbones, heavy rib cage. Don't have a sense of gripping or tension through the abdomen, so we're not bracing. We're going to change our arms now. So the arms are going to come to the side as the knee comes forwards. Arms to the side, knee forwards. So the legs are doing the same thing, working in sagittal plane. And now we're moving our arms in what's called our transverse plane. So just mixing our directions up a little bit here. Good. Now lower the arms, fold the leg up, deepen your connection, scoop and fold your other leg. We're in tabletop position. From here, we're going to come into some alternating toe taps. Exhale, tap the toe away. Inhale, return. Exhale, tap. Inhale, return. Now, we want to keep this natural low back curve as we do this. So we're not squashing the grape, but we certainly don't want to be lifting away from it. So have a sense of really pressing down into the sacrum at the back of the pelvis here. Ensure as well that your knees always come to rest over your hips. If they drift away, you'll start to have pressure in your low back and excess tension coming through your hip flexors. I can feel this straight away. And then come back again and it relaxes off. So we're going to exhale, tap, inhale, return, exhale, tap. Let's bring those arms in again. Opposite arm to leg, coming back again, exhale, tap, coming back. If you want to play with your arm variation, you can. So the arm would come to the side. So we're going to do a nice long set here, working on endurance into the lower pelvic region. You can do the same side as well, guys, so same arm and leg. So if that's what you've been doing anyway, don't worry. Just try and mix up your variations as much as possible. So I could do same side that way. It's going to feed in a lot more challenge through your abdomen and system. And remember, variation equals success. So I'm just going to give the front of the hips a rest now and come into some bridging. So we're going to slowly articulate through the spine, come up into our bridge, lengthen the knees away from us. And remember, you don't want to be gripping in your low back here, and then curling down again. So maybe when you come up, just check in with your low back muscles. You curl up, they should be quite soft, and just when they get to that point where they feel they become ropey like banjo strings, that's where you stop. You certainly don't want to be pushing up where they feel like two steel bands either side of your spine. So maybe soften off again a little bit and then curl down. Now we're going to add some pulses with our arms here. So this is just going to bring about a little bit more instability through the body. So we're going to curl up, lengthen the knees away, hover our arms and tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then curl down again. Keep the arms hovering. So as we come up here, we're having sustained work here in our glutes. We're pressing down through our heels, thighs are parallel, and we have this little tapping motion with straight arms. What we want to avoid here is that the tapping of the arms is bringing about motion throughout the body. We want to be able to create stability and just have that tiny tap on water with the arms. And curling down again, tilting the pelvis, curling up, and small taps. And coming down. Okay, now staying with bridging, we're going to come into a single leg bridging motion. So, hands pressing, curling up once again. We're going to slowly transfer the weight towards the right foot. Drive that foot down and then press the left shoulder back and down into the floor. And once you feel that diagonal connection, slowly hover the foot. Hold it there and lower. Transfer to the other side, push down through the foot, diagonal to the opposite shoulder, and hover. Place it down, lower all the way down. Once again, curling up, slowly transfer to one side. When you're there, light hover. Lower, transfer, light hover. What we're looking for here is that the pelvis stays level, that we don't see this tilt and drop. So maybe don't even lift your foot until you can feel this really strong diagonal connection running through the back of your body. Running from one foot, glute, across the back, opposite shoulder, and down the opposite arm. Once the stability is there, we should be able to just float the foot up quite easily. Shouldn't need to be lifting the foot with a lot of effort. Coming down again. Okay, we're just going to check in with our upper abdominals now, coming into abdo prep. So, we're just going to support the head with the fingers here with wide elbows. Now remember, we're going to keep pelvis and low back in neutral here. So we're just going to start by tilting the head a little bit and hovering the head off the ground. Now, hold this position, and then you're going to exhale and draw the ribs towards the pelvis. So that's here. Hold here, lower back down again. We don't have to lower the head, we can just keep it hovering. Exhale, draw the ribs to the pelvis, hold, and then slowly come down. If you want to lower down in between, you can. Just remember, eyes look down the cheeks, chin rests on that large sort of squishy peach, come up, and then down again. Take the weight to the head, look down the face, coming up, and down again. Now, you might want to stay with this. If you want more of a challenge, we're going to come up, abdo prep, hold this position, knee fold, down, knee fold, down, and then lower. Coming up. Pelvis stays neutral and level. We have that small fold, and then we lower back down again. Remember, we don't want to see bulging through the tummy. We don't want to see full imprint back again. We want to be able to see a nice sustained position here with no chin poke or forward head position. Gentle fold and down. Gentle fold. You might even want to add a knee fall out in this position as well. We can challenge the body however we want and curl down again. Or you could do a combo of both. Knee fold, knee fall out, knee fold. And I've had a nice sustained upper abdominal connection here. Good job. We're going to roll over and onto our side. So you can either rest on your pillow or you can rest on your arm, either way. So we're going to look first of all at an opener through the upper body. This exercise is called chalk circles. Now I'm actually just going to rest my head on the floor here. Hips are stacked, mild connection, deep tummy. We're going to hold a pretend piece of chalk here and reach forwards as far as we can, drawing a large circle up overhead and back down behind us to the hip. Then return the circle up and over and forwards and back again. Now this is quite relaxed as a motion. We're not necessarily too concerned with keeping the hips stacked. We're just looking for this nice rotation through the thorax and shoulder. So if you're looking like this, I can't get my arm backwards, you must let the thorax open. You must let yourself roll back. We're looking for a separation between the pelvis and the rib cage. And nice and gentle with this. Great. Okay, coming to look now at forward and back kick. So I'm just going to rest on my arm, but again you can rest on your towel if you want to. Hips will now be stacked, underneath waist lifted, spinal check-in, pubic bone, navel, breastbone, stacked, eyes forwards. The actual exercise, we're going to be hovering the top leg, coming into a small degree of hip flexion, bringing the leg back, ideally in line with the body, and then lowering. So we're having a lift, coming forwards, taking it back in line with the body, and lower. If you want to, you can maintain that lift. So we're just going to come forwards and backwards. Now, it's really important that you try and get at least level with the trunk. If you can go past a little bit, and your glutes will be working here. Just watch that that doesn't make your body collapse into extension. So you want to come into a flexion here in the hip, everything staying at about pelvic height, and then seeing if you can come back again. Maybe exhale as you come forwards. Inhale as you come back and open. Think again of elongating in your underneath waist and pushing out of that top hip so that we avoid this picture of hoiking the hip up, shortening in the waist. You should feel this working around this area of the hip. So that leg is just sort of gliding forwards and backwards on your imaginary table. Good. Third exercise, sideline, will be a double leg lift. So elongate the legs away from you. Again, hand here for support. Now with this exercise, really feel the layering through the body. So we have deep tummy, elongate and lift. Now we have outer muscles, hip and waist. Hold here and lower. Coming up again, deep tummy, legs lift and lower. Deep tummy, legs lift. Now hold. We're going to take an arm float overhead and back down and lower. Deep tummy, legs lift, float. Big gap again between the ear and the shoulder and down. Deep tummy, legs lift, up and back. Good. If you want to do some more repetitions of this on this side, just pause the video and continue. If not, we're going to transition and pop on to our other side. So remember our first one, chalk circles, nice and relaxed. Lying knees bent, my head is resting, yours can be on a pillow. Reaching forwards, big circle on the floor, reaching back, coming up again, and round we go. Reaching forwards, big circle, nice and relaxing. Again, really focus on this opening through the rib cage. Please don't have this exercise looking like this with your shoulder hanging backwards. It wants to be rolling back through the rib cage. Your hips might roll back as well, that's fine. Just try and get some nice fluid motion through this. And again. Good. Now taking our focus into the side of the hips again. Setting up, long arm, stack, stack, stack. Underneath waist lifting. Hand here, hover up, coming forwards, taking it back. And I'm just going to continue with this, forwards and back the whole time. Remember, long waist. As it comes forwards, really push that top hip away from you. As you come back, squeeze into your glutes and open into the front of the hip. So we've got some nice rhythmic motion happening front and back of hip, and then some continuous work happening at the side of the hip. Remember to check in that your underneath waist is lifted, your spine is long, your breathing is fluid. Doesn't matter necessarily whether you're breathing in and out, flexed or extended, as long as you have a nice rhythmic breath. And hopefully feeling a bit of a burn up here on the top of the hip. By that I mean a good burn. Good. Then we extend our legs and we had a double leg lift. Pause and lower. Internal, external. Pause and lower. And either stay like that or internal, external. Arm floats overhead and comes back and lower. So we're going to be a little bit more wobbly with this one. But that's the whole point. Challenging our balance. Coming up. We're working here our side slinger muscles or our lateral sling. And these muscles work really nicely to connect with pelvic stability and one leg standing. Beautiful. Again, if you would like to continue with this, you can. Just pause and carry on with some more repetitions. We're just going to have a couple of exercises up here in standing. So let's run over standing alignment. Feet parallel, tripod foot position. Knees soft, pelvis middle, and stacked again. Pubic bone, navel, breastbone. Broad collarbones. Elongation at the back of the neck, and arms nice and relaxed. And we're going to start through a walking motion. So we're just going to release each leg. Have a little press over into your first toe, or your big toe here, to get some movement through. And we're going to bring in a bit of a balance challenge here, so I'm going to get you to rise in between. So we're going to press, Then we're going to come up and lower. So we're just changing the motion here, coming up onto our tippy toes. Keep your toes nice and wide with the pads of your toes pressing down into the floor. We're looking to keep the pelvis level here as you rise up and down. If you feel like you're falling backwards with this, check in again and make sure your breastbone is sitting over your pubic bone. Now we're going to bring into this a one leg stand balance. So as we come down, we're going to release the foot off. Balance, come back, and we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, balance. And 1, 2, we'll have to stop on 3 now to get onto the other leg. Now remember, when you're looking at one leg stand balance, we're looking for level pelvis, stacked. So we want to make sure we don't see that picture. Get your hips right over. Walking through the feet. Transfer. Notice how my pelvis transfers over first, and then I get my balance. Walking through, 2, 3, transfer, balance. And again, last time. Good. Now I'm going to hold this balance here now. Just take the leg behind me a little bit. And I'm just going to move the arms around like a flapping crazy bird. Out to the side. Then I'm going to move them forwards and backwards. This is just challenging my balance a little bit now. And then waving them around in front of me. So are you able to maintain your balance here? Can you maintain an upright stack, level pelvis, level shoulders? If you're working with a little toe touch weight there, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure you have about 95% of your weight on your lead leg. Onto your other side. So we take the balance, and then we add some arm drivers or a little bit of challenge from above. Waving our arms around, forwards and back, side, side, and twisting. Can we maintain our upright stack? Good. Okay, so we're going to look at some squatting now. So a quick review of our squat technique. Feet parallel. We're going to come into a small lean first, and then just come down towards the floor and come up again. So we lean and we squat and come up. From front, lean and squat. And my thighs, shins, feet all coming forwards. Just be mindful that you don't squat and come into a bow-legged position, lifting the arches. Remember, you want the arches to elongate and be nice and soft, taking your weight down through the middle of the foot. I'm going to add some variations into your squat here. So I'm going to get you to squat with a low reach first of all. Keep length in your spine, and you'll feel this load your hips a little bit more. Then we're going to take our arms quite high as we squat. Now you may feel like you can't get down as far here, and the tension transfers more towards the knees and the front of the shins. Then we're going to add some side bending. So as we squat, we're just going to take the arms overhead. Now, my hips now travel to the opposite side. And my knees are no longer directly over my feet, and this is fine. This is actually what you're after. Then we come into twisting. I'm quite upright, so just be mindful that you're not bending down. If you're tight in your ankle and foot, just make your bend really small. Or if your knees are a bit sore, keep the bend really small. The pelvis will rotate, foot lifts, other foot rolls in, and the knees travel in the direction that you're squatting. So nice and fluid, up and down. So once again, let's run through. I'll do it from side on. 4 low, 2, 3, 4. We're going to take it high. can notice my hips aren't engaging as much here. It's going a little bit further forwards, the weight is. Coming to the side. Hips coming out, arms coming out, and then transverse plane or rotation. Good. Lovely work, guys. Just going to finish off with some roll downs. So let's start with our feet parallel. Inhaling up this time. Exhale, arms out, and then continue with your standing roll down. As you get to the bottom of this motion, take a big breath into the back of the lungs here, and then slowly curl back up again. Good, side on, inhaling up. Exhale, curling down, tuck under, hanging down, breathing in, curling up, reversing from the tail. Good, and then just take a moment to check in and feel through your body. Thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you again soon. Bye.